Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, which is an unboxing video. So today we've got another swimming axolotl. This time it's by Zuru and it's in the Pets Alive series. I was surprised at the size of this when it arrived today because I thought it would be a similar size to the Fingerlings axolotl, which we unboxed a couple of weeks ago. But it is absolutely tiny.
Makes me wonder how big axolotls are in real life.
It's so tiny. So I've got the blue version. It also comes in pink, and that's the natural colour of axolotls. But the two that I've got here are lilac and blue. I would have rather had pink, but you can't choose. They just send them out randomly.
Right. This obviously takes button batteries as well, doesn't it?
Well, it must do. Look at the size of it. Interestingly, Zuru brought out some little turtles quite a few years ago, and they were really tiny as well.
I seem to remember
they
those.
Swam in water.
Yeah, I seem to remember those being realistic colours though.
Well, actually, I painted them.
Ah, right, is that it?
I'm not sure what happened to all of them, but I've still got one of them, so I'll compare that with this little axolotl later in the video.
I wonder how it swims.
It says it swims in 5 directions, which is an odd thing to say, but I'm sure I read on the website that it's got 5 different swimming actions.
Ah, that'll be it, yeah. 5 different sort of like modes of swimming, like breaststroke, backstroke, that sort of thing.
It says backstroke. It says comes alive in water, so that's like the turtles. They were water activated.
They're resistive sensors, yeah.
Same as the Fingerlings axolotl. When you put it in water, it starts swimming.
Yeah, which is a neat thing, really.
But you can use the Fingerlings outside of water. I imagine that this one's just really to be used in water, but we'll find out.
I think sometimes you can trigger the whatever action it's got in the water by just holding the resistive sensors with your fingers.
Yeah, you could do that with the turtles, couldn't you? The box is really nice on this. It's like hard plastic.
It's something to keep it in after you've dried it out, isn't it?
It's unusual, that. And it says on the back, swimming axolotls, meet your quirky, cute new pet axolotl. This gilly friend loves to swim a lotl. Watch as she chases her tail. Chases its tail.
That means she swims in circles then?
Must do, mustn't it?
That must be one of the modes.
And moves from left to right. Fantastic underwater fun awaits. Unbox me now.
So to get the different swimming modes, there must be a microcontroller timing the finning, timing the swimming action of the tail.
Interesting. So this had 2 pieces of
like seals,
circular seals on the side that I've managed to take off. So I think we'll probably peel this bit here to get access to it. That's so nice, isn't it, how it's presented? I thought the instructions might be under there. So it's got those little things on the side. What do you call them, Paul? Resistive something, is it called?
Just resistive sensors. It's like 2 metal points, one on each side, measuring the resistance. When the resistance changes, drops. When you put it in water, then it activates the axolotl. That's why you can often get it to trigger with your fingers. If you say just dampen your fingers or lick your fingers, then touch each sensor.
And then we've got the tail, which is the only moving part.
So unlike the Fingerlings axolotl, then this has no lights or sounds.
No, but this is only £8 if you're in the UK or $8 if you're in the US, so it's considerably cheaper. It's like less than half the price of the Fingerlings one.
It sounds like it has a more complex swimming action though.
It does, doesn't it? Your axolotl will come to life with a gentle touch on the sensor, meaning the resistive points. Simply press the sensor on the side of your axolotl to make its tail flap. This is just battery information. Takes 2 LR44 batteries, so those are the little button cells. Play instructions. Axolotl on-off activation. Your axolotl will automatically activate in water. To turn on your axolotl, simply place it in water, so it doesn't have an on-off switch as such. To turn off your axolotl or play with it outside the tank, take it out of the water and dry it with a soft, clean cloth. Please note your axolotl will dive deep into the tank and swim along the bottom, so just like a real axolotl.
So it's not a surface swimmer then, like the Fingerlings axolotl.
That should be interesting comparing the two. Power save mode. To save battery power, your axolotl will automatically switch itself off in water after approximately 4 minutes. To reactivate, please remove your axolotl from the water for 5 seconds, shake off any excess water and place it back in the water.
That's a nice touch.
And that's it for the instructions, so quite simple really. Right, he's got 2 sort of rubber bands holding him in. Take one off like that.
And the tail looks nice and soft.
Oh, it's all one rubber band that's sort of just folded around. Oh, so light. And like the Fingerlings axolotl, the tail is soft silicone and the legs are soft silicone as well.
Oh, that is interesting.
You've got your battery door there.
So you said it's so light, and yet in the instructions it says it does a deep dive, so it must be weighted at the front so that it swims downwards.
I suppose it's light, but then for its size, yeah, there's some sort of weight in there. And I suppose the batteries help to weight it as well. And it's got some sort of rubbery, what would you say those are? Gills?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cheery little chappy.
They're both happy looking axolotls.
Oh, you got the detail here, like the bubbly pattern.
So I can see the resistive touch sensors, one on that side and one on the other. So if you were to sort of pinch those, touch them, it should trigger it to flap the tail.
Yeah, as long as the batteries are okay. Oh wow, look at that go! Brilliant.
There we go. Oh yes, different patterns of vibration.
Interesting.
Oh yes, yeah. Multiple different patterns. That looks like fun, yeah.
It does.
So that's going to be swimming in different directions on the bottom.
So,
look forward to trying that out.
Yeah, so we'll go and put some water in the bath and we'll try this out. And then we'll put the Fingerlings axolotl in and compare the swimming actions. So we've got the bath full of water and Paul's going to do the honours with the axolotl.
So this is nicely weighted. It's got a pitch down attitude, nose first in the water. So when it waddles its tail quickly, it actually dives deeper.
Yeah, it makes it look more purposeful than the Fingerlings one. We've got the Fingerlings one here. We're going to put that in a little while. We just want to watch this for a while first by itself.
So this one's diving and surfacing and diving and surfacing. It's changing its depth all the time depending on how it wiggles its tail. From what I remember, it seems to get about much better. This seems to get about better than the Fingerlings one. There it goes down again.
Makes it quite sort of realistic, doesn't it?
We've got about 6 inches of water in here, but I think you could put more in to allow it to have a greater depth range.
Yeah.
As I say, we'll come up to the surface when it stops waddling its tail. Yeah, it's much more adept at getting round. That variety makes it look. You think it looks purposeful, don't you?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as though it's bottom feeding, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is, isn't it? And nice variation there as well.
It's come up to the surface again. A few more whittles in it. I love it when it goes down. Look at that. Look at it go down. Yeah.
So we're going to put the fingerlings axolotl in now, so we can do a bit of a comparison. Yeah, I'd say it's right up on the surface, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The fingerlings axolotl.
When it touches up against the side, it tends to stay pressed against the side.
Yeah, the fingerlings.
More than the Zuru one, which seems to
be able to move away. Yeah, it's staying away from the side, isn't it? It's coming further in to the middle of the bath.
I think it's got something to do with that nose down attitude it's got, and able to change its depth.
Yeah, so the fingerlings one is just like going around the edge all the time on the surface of the water, where the other one's sort of covering the whole of the bath, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at how far down it is now.
I'd be tempted to put about 12 inches of water in a bath to see the full depth range of exploration it does.
I imagine that would look really good if you had a very deep tank and you had some fake vegetation in it. I imagine that would look really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fingerlings is staying right next to the edge. But it says 5 different directions.
Yeah.
Well, it actually does go in a different direction. It goes down and then it goes up. So those are 2 different directions. And I suppose it can go left and it can go right. And it can go forward, so...
Maybe. I thought it meant it's got 5 different modes of tail behaviour.
I'm not sure now if it actually does mean it goes in different directions, because it certainly does go down as well as up. You can see how much smaller it is than the fingerlings there, can't you?
It's got going underneath again.
Yeah.
Towing the other one.
It is, isn't it? It's got some strength. It's funny that. It also moves for like up to 4 minutes, doesn't it? Whereas the fingerlings one, it only seems to go for about a minute, minute and a half. It's a bit of a short amount of time, really, isn't it?
It is, and then you've got to get it out of the water and put it back in again.
This is from some footage from when I did the unboxing of the fingerlings. So I thought, it's just going around the edge. Did it really just do that before? Because it seemed more interesting when we first unboxed it. But there was this bit where it went backwards, but I think it only did it once. And then when I rewatched this, I saw that you would keep turning it.
I was moving it around, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Stop it getting sort of stuck against the side.
Yeah. So that was the difference.
So in the water, the Zuru Axolotl performs in a much nicer way than the fingerlings.
Oh yeah, massively more sort of sophisticated in its movements.
But of course, the fingerlings axolotl has got perhaps more about it out of the water, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's something to be played with out of the water. It's like it can swim in the water as like an extra thing, but it's really made to be used out of the water, whereas the other one, it only functions in the water. And we also tried out the Zuru turtle. We had a look at how that compared with the Zuru Axolotl. They've both got nice actions, haven't they?
They have, yeah. They seem particularly good, Zuru, at doing these water toys.
Yeah, because they did do some fish as well. I was never keen on the fish, though. I never actually bought a fish because I didn't like the way they banged against the side of the tank. But these pair, they're great. They got such a sort of gentle action, haven't they? And sort of natural sort of movement and variation.
Oh, the variation on the axolotl is wonderful, I think.
It's quite nice on the turtle as well.
It is,
though.
yeah. But of course, the turtle stays on the surface and doesn't sort of dive up and down.
Yeah. It is good though. The
Look
turtle.
at that there; it's just gone
it's
straight
gone
underneath the Fingerlings axolotl.
The turtle does have like the two legs that move though, and it does alternate with turning one way or turning the other way, or even going in a circle. It said that this is supposed to go in a circle, didn't it, on the box? That the axolotl's supposed to go in a circle.
Chase my tail, I think it said, but which I thought. Sorry.
So what were you going to say?
Which, yeah, it said on the box, chase my tail, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which I thought was a strange thing for an axolotl to do. It's more, you expect a puppy dog to be chasing its tail, or maybe a young kitten.
But we never saw it going round in a circle.
No, but the movement it did have was very interesting to watch.
We're going to have a quick blast of the Fingerlings axolotl switched on out of the water. But first of all, I thought I'd do a sort of side-by-side comparison of just how they look. One thing I've noticed is that even out of the water, the Zuru axolotl, its back feet are in the air.
It's got that
because it's weighted right at the front.
Yeah.
Interesting, that, isn't it? And something I noticed when they were in the water is that this axolotl has got its legs in a manner in which it would have if it was swimming along.
Yeah, whereas the other one's got them in a sort of walking position, hasn't it, really?
Yes. And these are also shaped more like a real creatures. Whereas these are like comic little feet, aren't they? They're made to sort of be cute with little toes. But I thought that was interesting that they've put the legs like this and put all that weight in there, because it really doesn't work outside water, does it?
Well, it shows you it's really meant to be in the water and played with in the water exclusively, I would say.
Yes.
I mean, you can have it in your hand and grab hold of the resistive sensors and get it to wag its tail, but that's about it.
We've just had to renew the batteries in this. We tested them because it wasn't coming on. And we tested them and they had some life left in them.
According to the battery tester, but it's not a great one. So it seems to be a bit sensitive to the voltage dropping on this axolotl, and it takes four LR44.
Yeah, it takes 4 button cells.
It is sweet though, out of the water on your hand, isn't it? Some of the tunes it plays, very simple, and the lights. It's got a lot of play value outside of the water. This one.
And the Zuru one takes 2 button cells, so half. But I would imagine that they'll last a lot longer in the Zuru one because it's not got sounds and it's not got lights. It's all it's got is the movement.
So how do you trigger the lights and sounds on this axolotl? I can't remember.
So when you touch this touch sensor at the back, that makes it come on. I think that it plays the songs, when you tap the head. I think it has 3, doesn't it?
I like that one. It's my favourite. That's appropriate for being in the water.
Overall, though, personally, I prefer the Zuru one.
Yeah, I found it a tough choice. Now I've got them on sort of dry land here, I prefer the Fingerlings one, but I prefer the Zuru one when it was in the water earlier on. So I found it a tough choice.
When I was a kid and I got toys, I like to pretend that they were
Real.
And if you've got a child that really wants a real axolotl,
That's a fair point. Yeah, you're going to
I
get
can
more of a sense of
imagine-
that with this one, aren't you?
Yes.
The Zuru one. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
less feeling like you've got a toy.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got a tank and you put fake plants in as you're getting an aquarium,
Yeah.
and you maybe add 2 of these,
Because you can get a pink one as well, can't you?
you can get a pink one, and they're only like £8 or $8.
I was going to ask you, so what's the difference in price between this Zuru one and the Fingerlings one?
I think the Fingerlings one is I'm thinking £17 or $17.
So you can get 2 Zurus for the price of a Fingerling.
Bit less.
Right.
I know that there is a pack that's sold, which is, I think it's the pink axolotl, the Zuru pink axolotl, and it has like a little pond that comes with it.
Oh, yeah.
But from the pictures I've seen, it's that small. I wouldn't get that because you're paying more for it as well. I think you'd be better off getting like
a large washing up bowl or a large a container maybe.
I think maybe like a clear plastic container.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you can pick up like storage containers for not much money.
Yeah, that'd be the cheapest option, wouldn't it? To get a storage container and fill it with water. Yeah.
You could get more depth then. And maybe see it from the side as well if it's clear.
Yeah, and it'd be fun with 2 in, wouldn't it, as well?
Yeah, and then if you put like some false plants in. And as I was telling you earlier, I'd like this idea as well, if you could get pretend food that would dissolve.
Oh, so you sprinkle it in the tank, and because these axolotls will do a bit of a dive, won't they? And
yeah, so if you've got something that goes to the bottom of the tank...
You can imagine they feed in, and then the food dissolves and disappears.
Yeah.
So it's like they've eaten it.
And I was thinking you could do that with these things, you call them bath bombs.
Oh, like bath salts you get for kids.
Yeah, the fizz and dissolve. And I was thinking you could get one of those, crush it up,
sprinkle it in, yeah.
And put it in like a little tub. Even maybe buy some cheap fish food and empty the fish food and fill it with this stuff.
Pretend you're feeding your axolotls.
Yeah.
And the food magically disappears.
And it's like, you've got to wait till the axolotl goes down to the bottom because it's looking for food, and then you put the food in for it.
Yeah.
And of course it would dissolve.
Yeah.
So it'd be like it's eating it. That would really enhance the sort of pet experience.
I can see that's your favourite, the Zuru one. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's a tough decision for me. I'm not sure. I mean, I did like it today when all 3 things were in the bath, including the old Zuru turtle as well that you've painted there. Do they still make those?
I'm not sure if they still sell these or not, but I liked it so much, and I loved the action. And again, it was sort of like, I liked the realism. So I thought I'll paint it to make it look a bit more realistic, but unfortunately silicone doesn't take paint so well.
No.
And it's come off the silicone flippers. I'm not sure how you could get around that. But you know, I'm tempted to paint this to make it look more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. What colour is an axolotl?
Pink.
Pink.
And then they have like markings on them.
Right.
I also really like these gills that they've put on. These are lovely, very realistic as well. It would be nice if the whole thing was soft, wouldn't it? You know, if it was all soft silicone.
Yeah, yeah.
And they could sort of maybe mount the workings inside still somehow.
It's certainly the best swimmer, that one, though. I was a bit taken aback today about this business about it being able to change depth depending on how it uses its tail.
Yeah, it was really, really nice to watch. And I like the diddiness. I like things that are very small. So that's appealing as well. So, yes, this one's my favourite. And you're not sure, are you?
Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence with these 2, so... If I had to give it for the swimmer, I would give it to the Zuru, but obviously the play value out of the water, this one wins, and I love some of the tunes on it and the lights. I think it's very, very tasteful and sweet as a toy.
So folks, that about wraps it up for this unboxing and demonstration and review and comparison. Hope you found that interesting to some degree. Thanks for watching as always, and hope to see you next time.